Listen to me. If you want to win at life, if you want to dominate, to succeed, to be the man who walks into a room and commands respect without even speaking, you need to understand something very simple. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your most dangerous enemy. It's either the engine that drives you forward at full speed or the anchor that drags you down into the depths of mediocrity. And let me tell you something most people don't want to admit. If your life sucks, if you're broke, if you're weak, if you're lost, it is your fault. I don't care what excuses you have. Your parents were poor, so what? You didn't have the right education, who cares? The world didn't give you a fair shot, boo-hoo. The truth is, you are where you are because of how you think. And the day you realize that is the day you take back control. The weak-minded blame the world, the strong-minded take responsibility. And the moment you stop being a victim is the moment you start being a winner. You have a choice every single second of every single day to program your mind for strength, success, and domination, or to allow it to rot in negativity and weakness. You're not tired, you're undisciplined. That's the truth no one wants to admit. You keep lying to yourself, calling it burnout, calling it stress, pretending it's your circumstances, but deep down you know it's weakness. You know you've got the energy to scroll endlessly, binge shows, fantasize about success, but when it's time to build, to move, to rise, suddenly you're empty. Why? Because you're chasing motivation like a drug addict chasing his next high. And when it doesn't show up, you fold, you quit, you disappear. But let me tell you something brutal. Winners don't wait to feel like it. They move through the mud, through the darkness, through the doubt. I don't believe in motivation, I believe in discipline. I am a disciplined person. That's the difference. That's what separates the men from the boys, the lions from the sheep. You keep praying for drive, but what you really need is discipline, because when everything in you says no, discipline screams yes and drags you forward. That's how greatness is built, not by feeling good, but by doing what must be done when it feels impossible. The temporary satisfaction of quitting is outweighed by the eternal suffering of being a nobody. And trust me, being a nobody isn't painful in the moment. It's a slow rot, a quiet death, a life where your dreams bury you in regret. The version of you you're afraid to become, he's in a fantasy. He's your reflection without the lies. Kill who you've been. Act like the future is already yours. Or stay forgotten. Your choice. The man you're afraid to become, he's already inside you. You've just been too weak, too soft, too scared to let him out. But today, you kill the coward pretending to be you. The truth is, most people live as strangers to themselves. Not because they don't want more, but because they've been trained like obedient dogs to believe that they are fixed. That their personality, their habits, their failures, they're part of their DNA. That's the biggest lie the world sells you, that you're stuck with who you are. You're not stuck. You're just scared to destroy the version of yourself that feels safe, even if that version is quietly murdering your potential every single day. You don't need therapy, you need war. You don't need to be understood, you need to be rebuilt from the ground up, brick by disciplined brick, with the steel of self-respect and the fire of intention. You've been taught to find yourself, like your best version is hidden under a rock, waiting for you to stumble on it while scrolling through your phone at 2 a.m. That's not how power is born. You don't find yourself, you forge yourself. Discipline is the foundation of freedom, and if you don't have it, you're a slave to your mood, your emotions, your laziness. You either rise now or you stay down forever. Because the truth is this, you will never be anything until you're willing to work when you don't feel like it. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand it to you. Success is the result of discipline, dedication, and sacrifice. People who train every day do not want to train every day. They're not fueled by emotion. They're forged by decision. So ask yourself, are you willing to suffer for your name? Or will you let another day pass while the life you want laughs in your face? Decide right now. Because every second you wait, another man out there is sharpening his sword while you're still staring at the handle. Most of you will never make it, and not because you're dumb, not because you're poor, not because the system is rigged. Those are the lies you whisper to yourself so you can sleep at night. The truth is colder. The truth is you're addicted to motivation, like a junkie. You sit and wait for a feeling to strike, some magical lightning bolt of energy to hit your spine and drag you into greatness. Most people choose weakness because it's easy. It's easy to complain. It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to stay in bed all day feeling sorry for yourself. But do you know what's not easy? Winning. And that's why most people never do. If you want to master your mind, you need to understand one thing. Discipline is everything. People talk about motivation. Motivation is a joke. Motivation is a fleeting feeling that comes and goes like the wind. But discipline is the foundation of kings. When you master discipline, you don't need motivation. You just do what needs to be done no matter how you feel. You wake up, you grind, you push, you conquer, because that's who you are. Let me tell you something. Life is war. Every single day is a battle. And the enemy, it's not your boss. It's not society. It's not your parents or your haters. The enemy is you. That weak version of you that wants to quit, that wants to complain, that wants to stay comfortable and avoid the struggle. And if you let that version of you win, you will never be successful. You will never reach the top because the world belongs to the strong. Look at history. Look at the men who built empires. The warriors, the conquerors, the leaders. Do you think they spent their time scrolling social media, whining about life, waiting for someone to come save them? No. They sharpened their minds like a blade. They trained their bodies like weapons. They dominated because they were disciplined. You eliminate the man who wakes up dreading life and you replace him with someone who commands it. Your old self isn't broken, it's obsolete. And yet you defend it. You protect your insecurities like they're sacred. You justify your procrastination with mental gymnastics. You look in the mirror and see a prisoner, not realizing you're the guard, the cell, and the key. All at once. Most men will die as versions of themselves they never respected. And that should terrify you. If the thought of remaining who you are for the rest of your life doesn't shake your soul, then you're already lost. Because deep down, you know there's a version of you who speaks with fire, who walks like a storm, who commands respect without raising his voice. You've seen glimpses of him. In moments where you acted without fear, stood tall in chaos, made a decision with absolute certainty, he showed up, and then you buried him because the world told you that standing out was dangerous, that confidence was arrogance, that power was toxic. A weakness is toxic, and you've been addicted to it because it feels safe, predictable, easy. But comfort is the cage, and you've been living like a pet when you were born a predator. Who you are is not who you must remain. That one sentence can rip open your reality if you let it. Your habits are not you. Your failures are not final. Your fears are not facts. But here's the catch. You have to kill the coward before you can crown the king. Look at your body. That's not genetics. It's neglect. You want respect? Build it. No one fears softness. No one follows weakness. You want confidence? Earn it in sweat. Train like your life depends on it. Because it does. Most men are pretending, walking around in bodies they've neglected, minds they've abandoned, and lives they've surrendered. You think you're doing fine because your heart still beats, because you got a job, because you're not in pain, but that's exactly why you're dying slowly. No resistance, no pressure, no struggle. That's not peace, that's stagnation. Comfort is killing you and calling it peace. You've been fooled into believing that the absence of pain means you're okay. But deep down, every time you take your shirt off and look in the mirror, you know you're not the man you were supposed to become. And that silent guilt, that sting in your chest when you see a man with a body built like a weapon, is your soul reminding you you're slacking. You weren't born to be average. You weren't meant to walk around out of breath after a flight of stairs, hiding your gut under oversized shirts, blaming your metabolism or your schedule or your genetics. You weren't made to look in the mirror and feel disappointment. You were made for war. There's a storm coming for every man. It's called life. It brings hardship, chaos, loss, betrayal. And when it hits, you won't rise to the occasion. You'll fall to your level of preparation. That's why I train like my life depends on it, because one day it might. And when that day comes, I refuse to be weak. I refuse to fold. I want to meet adversity head on, fist clenched, body ready, mind locked in. Physical fitness isn't about vanity. It's about resilience. It's about being unbreakable when others crumble. Train hard because one day your life might depend on your strength. That's not motivation. That's a fact. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how smart you think you are. If you neglect your body, you're playing with a loaded gun. Because life doesn't care about your bank account or your IQ when your heart gives out, or when your back gives in, or when your mind breaks, because you've spent years burying your anxiety under junk food and Netflix. You can't fake health. You can't buy discipline. You either put in the work or you pay the price later. And that bill always comes due with interest. Like, the universe does not reward the man who waits, it rewards the man who builds. The man who shows up on Monday morning at war with his own comfort. The man who gets up at 5 a.m. not because he wants to, but because he has to, because he's chosen a mission bigger than himself. And this is what you fail to understand. Discipline is the path to freedom, and motivation is the path to slavery. Do what you feel is the mantra of the broke, the weak, the forgotten. Do what must be done. That's the law of kings. You think winners feel like showing up every day? You think the strongest minds on earth feel inspired 24/7? Of course not. Some days the body hurts, the mind is foggy, the world feels like it's crushing down on your chest. But the disciplined man moves anyway. He moves through pain, through boredom, through doubt, because his goals are not negotiable. He doesn't need to be motivated because his life is engineered around discipline. That's what makes him dangerous. That's what makes him unstoppable. While you're scrolling through your phone looking for the next pump-up video, the disciplined man is building his empire, brick by brick, hour by hour, in silence, with no applause. And that's why he wins. You want to know what separates the ones who become monsters from the ones who only dream of being strong? It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's obsession. It's a violent, unshakable obsession with becoming the man you're scared to admit you could be. Most people don't lack potential. They lack urgency. You don't need more books. You don't need more podcasts. You don't need more time to figure it all out. You need pressure. You need to wake up every single day and act like you're 5 years behind and running out of oxygen, because you are. That person you idolize in your head, he's already moving. He's already training, grinding, executing. And if you don't match his pace, you'll never catch up. The gap won't close itself. You either run faster or get left behind. No one cares how much it hurts. The universe respects velocity, not intention. You've got to understand, identity isn't something you're born with. It's something you forge. It's a sculpture, and your daily actions are the hammer and chisel. You carve it with sacrifice. You shape it with suffering. You define it by making choices that betray your comfort. That's how you rewrite who you are. If you're not acting like him, you'll never become him. Look at history. Look at the men who built empires. The warriors, the conquerors, the leaders. Do you think they spent their time scrolling social media, whining about life, waiting for someone to come save them? No. They sharpened their minds like a blade. They trained their bodies like weapons. They dominated because they were disciplined. And that's what you need to do. Train your mind like a warrior trains for battle. Cut out the weakness. Eliminate distractions. Stop feeding your brain garbage. Stop watching mindless nonsense. Stop wasting time on people who do nothing but bring you down. Your mind is a fortress. Guard it with your life. I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't care if you feel tired. I don't care if you're sad. You know what I do when I don't feel like working? I work anyway. You know what I do when life punches me in the face? I get back up and hit harder, because I refuse to lose. I refuse to let weakness win. Most of you live like you have infinite time. Let me tell you the truth. You don't. Every second you waste, every moment you spend in self-pity is time you will never get back. And one day you will wake up old, weak, full of regret, realizing that you wasted your entire life waiting for the right moment. Guess what? The right moment is now. You're not tired. You're just undisciplined. You're not unlucky. You're just wasting time. And deep down, you know it. Every scroll, every snooze button, every wasted hour is another nail in the coffin of the man you were supposed to become. While you're sitting there, paralyzed, distracted, your future is bleeding out, and no one's coming to save you. This is your intervention. You're not behind because of where you were born. You're behind because of how you use your hours. Most people don't need more motivation, more books, or another inspirational video. They need to stop wasting the minutes between their dreams and their discipline. You're broke, you're distracted, and you're stuck not because life is unfair, but because you've treated time like it's some infinite generous friend that'll wait while you procrastinate. Bolt. Time is cold, ruthless, and non-refundable. You'll never get a refund on a wasted hour. And that's what makes it the most valuable thing you own. People fear losing money. They fear being cheated out of $100, 0 cents. But they give away days, weeks, even years like they're disposable. And then they cry when the future shows up and slaps them with the results of their own apathy. You want a better life? Get serious about how you spend your mornings. The man who owns his first hour owns his whole day. The man who owns his day owns his future. You cannot afford to see how the day goes. That mindset is a guaranteed ticket to mediocrity. You have to wake up like there's a war outside, like the world's trying to make you average, and every minute you don't fight back, it's winning. The only difference between the winners and the watchers is that the winners took time seriously before they had success. It wasn't after they got rich that they became disciplined. It was their discipline with time that made them rich in the first place. You think you're tired. You think you're demotivated. No, you're disorganized. You've got no plan, no urgency, no structure. You wake up at random, you scroll until your brain is mush, you chase dopamine all day long, and then wonder why nothing in your life is moving forward. Let me be brutally honest. Your schedule is a reflection of your self-respect. If you respect yourself, you guard your time like your life depends on it. You wouldn't let strangers rob your house, but you let distractions rob your minutes. You wouldn't hand over your car keys to someone careless, but you hand over your daily hours to things that give you nothing in return. Your future is being built or destroyed by how you use your next hour. That's the truth most men ignore until it's too late. You want hope? Here it is. You are not trapped. You're just untrained. You've been lied to. You've been told success is luck or privilege or some hidden secret. It's not. It's math. It's reps. It's what you do from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. that builds the life you're begging for. And the best part, you control it. You can fix it. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to win the next hour. Then the next, stack those wins, stack those hours. Time compounds faster than money ever will. You don't need more motivation. You need structure. You need to look in the mirror and say, every hour I waste, my dream gets further away. Because that's the truth. And the truth, when accepted, becomes your weapon. There's a reason the world is run by the ruthless. It's not because they're the most talented. It's because they waste nothing. Not time, not energy, not chances. Every second is a soldier. Every hour is a war. There was a man I once met, billionaire, quiet, powerful, moved like a shadow through the room. I asked him what made him different. He didn't even blink when he answered. I schedule my life like a surgeon schedules surgery. My hours are not suggestions, they are law. That hit me like a freight train because deep down I knew I was casual with time. I let emotions dictate what I do. I let comfort sneak into my routines. But this man, he wasn't rich because he was smarter. He was rich because he was militant with minutes. His success wasn't explosive, it was engineered. Every task, every call, every meeting, every training session, it was all carved into a clock with purpose. And once I understood that, I rewired myself. No more guessing, no more waiting for motivation. I ran my days like a general runs a battlefield. Ruthless, unapologetic, sharp. I stopped chasing the weekend. I stopped living for vacations. I became obsessed with what I could build before 8 a.m. I realized the world is designed to distract you. The notifications, the apps, the entertainment, it's all there to steal your focus. And if it can steal your focus, it can steal your life. Discipline with time creates freedom. Indulgence with time creates slavery. Most people are prisoners, not of chains, but of their calendars. They've scheduled failure into their day by choosing ease over evolution. But not you, not if you decide now, because it's not too late, not yet. Time is brutal, but it's also merciful if you act now, if you take control. If you become the type of man who looks at a clock and sees possibility, not pressure, that's when you win. That's when you dominate, when every minute bends to your will, not because time changed, but because you did. You want to be dangerous? Be the man who never wastes a second. Be the man who wakes up with a mission. Be the man who builds days like blueprints for legacy. That's not just success, that's power. That's how you crush the weak, the lazy, the distracted, because they're too busy wasting time and you're out here turning every hour into war. You become untouchable, not because of what you have, but because of how you use what they take for granted. Time. You are not unlucky. You are not cursed. You're just undisciplined with time. That's the raw truth no one wants to say to your face. You know what's addictive? Momentum. That feeling when you've been training for weeks and your shirts fit tighter, your jawline is sharper, and people start looking twice. That's not vanity. That's validation of your work. It's proof that when others slept, you were building. And the best part, no one can give it to you, so no one can take it from you. You become self-made, and there's no feeling like it. You'll start realizing that gym isn't a chore, it's therapy. It's meditation with metal. It's the place where chaos gets crushed under iron and fear gets drowned in sweat. This life doesn't reward intentions, it rewards execution. All those dreams in your head mean nothing if your body is weak. You can't build an empire on broken foundations. Your health, your stamina, your mental sharpness, it all begins in the temple of pain. You become a man there. You suffer, and in that suffering, you meet yourself. Not the version you post online, the real you, the one no one claps for. And when you shake hands with that man, everything changes. Because he's the one who's going to carry you when life tries to break you. There is nothing more spiritual than pushing your limits until your muscles scream, your vision blurs, and you still don't stop. That's how you build faith. Not in a God, in yourself. That's where confidence is born. Not from compliments, from scars. From refusing to quit when every bone in your body begs for mercy. And when you come out the other side, you'll laugh at the man you used to be because he was soft. He was scared. He thought life was supposed to be easy, but now you know nothing valuable comes without pain. And the man who learns to love that pain becomes untouchable. This is it. The end of excuses, the death of delay, the moment you decide that the man you've been is not the man you're meant to be. You don't need more motivation, you need movement. You don't need more talk, you need transformation. You've consumed enough content, watched enough videos, liked enough quotes. None of that means anything if you still wake up every day and disrespect yourself by staying weak. You're not stuck, you're stagnant, you're not lost, you're lazy. The cure is not comfort, it's conquest. And it starts with your body. No one is coming to build you. You are your own architect. You are the one who decides what kind of force you bring into the room. Not your parents, not your past, not your pain, you. And until you face yourself in the mirror, until you confront the softness in your life with ruthless accountability, you will never change. Stop scrolling for saviors and become your own. Stand up, breathe deep, and realize that the key to your evolution is already in your hands. Your body is the gateway. Your discipline is the lock. Your willpower is the code. This world doesn't respect potential, it respects proof. And proof is built in the silence, in the grind, in the gym when nobody is watching, and you're still pushing because you refuse to die average. That's where you earn it. That's where confidence is born. Not from compliments or likes, but from the internal fire that grows when you conquer yourself. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be relentless. You need to be the man who shows up when it's cold, when it's dark, when it hurts, because that's the man people remember. That's the man who writes his name into history. You don't need a perfect plan. You need painful action. You need to put the phone down, put the junk food away, and pick up the responsibility that you've been avoiding. Your muscles aren't just for looks. They're for discipline. They're for dominance. They are physical evidence that you don't fold under pressure, that you suffer voluntarily, that you choose discomfort while others pray to avoid it. That's what makes you powerful. Not your car, not your watch, not your Instagram, your ability to master yourself. Every man says he wants respect. Every man says he wants success, but very few are willing to bleed for it, to wake up sore, to go to sleep hungry, to walk into the gym after failure and still lift like it's war. There is no victory without violence against weakness. There is no growth without battle. You are a soldier in a world of slaves. You train not just for aesthetics, but for clarity, for mental sharpness, for the kind of inner peace that only comes after chaos. That's why it matters, not for six packs or selfies, for structure, for control, for sanity. And yes, it will hurt. You will be tired. Your mind will scream for rest. But that's when the growth happens. That's when average men tap out and you dig deeper. That's when you find out what you're really made of. Not when it's easy, when it's hell. Because pain reveals truth. Struggle reveals strength. And when you survive what was designed to break you, you stop fearing life. You embrace it. You look at problems and say, is that all you've got? Because you've built yourself into fire. You've sculpted your spirit with sweat and scars. Right now, you're sitting on power you've never touched, on a version of yourself that's leaner, sharper, louder, stronger, but he's trapped, buried under procrastination, suffocated by comfort, held hostage by your own bad habits, and he's not going to break out unless you let him. That version of you doesn't come with motivation, he comes with momentum, with savage discipline, with repetition. He comes alive when you wake up and train without needing a reason. When you fuel your body like a machine. When you stop betraying yourself for temporary pleasure. This is your moment to wake up. This is your signal. You didn't stumble on this message by accident. You were meant to read these words at this exact time because deep down you know you're capable of more. You know there's a beast inside you, a force that's been waiting. And it doesn't care about your past. It only asks one thing. Are you ready to suffer for your greatness? If the answer is yes, then you'll move today. You'll run even if you're slow. You'll train even if you're sore. You'll eat clean even if it's boring, because now you understand something most men never will. Discipline is freedom. And once you taste that freedom, you'll never go back. You'll never again be satisfied with mediocrity. You'll start to crave the pain because you know it leads to power. You'll chase the challenge because you know it forces you to evolve. And every day you show up, every drop of sweat, every rep, every sprint, every sacrifice, it's another reminder that you are alive, awake, and ascending. This is what it means to become your best self. Not one day, not tomorrow, now. You don't wait to feel confident, you move like the man who already conquered the future. It's the only way the world starts treating you like him. Let me tell you something they don't teach you in school or therapy. Your feelings don't matter. Your actions do. You feel tired? Good. Move anyway. You feel lost? Push forward. You feel scared? Execute with precision. Power doesn't come from eliminating fear. It comes from overriding it so often that fear becomes irrelevant. Weak people wait for clarity. Strong men create it. That's the law of the jungle. No lion waits to feel like a killer. He just kills. That's how he becomes the apex predator. That's how you must operate. You don't wait for motivation because most days it won't come. What will come is chaos, problems, delays, doubts, and your ability to move anyway is what will separate you from the masses drowning in mediocrity. You don't rise when it's easy, you rise when it's brutal and you still refuse to break. You want to know how to become him? Outwork your identity until your old self doesn't even recognize you. Obsess over excellence until people look at you like you've lost your mind. Let them call you crazy. Legends always are in the beginning.